everyone. During the last 100 years, medicine has advanced incredibly. Humanity has learned to treat diseases that have killed thousands of people throughout centuries. And recently, millions of people are dying worldwide because of COVID-19. But my concern for today is not about the infectious disease anymore, but about the prolonged suffering from untreatable diseases. Despite all of these advancements in science and technology, there are still many diseases that not only be cured but also cause incredible suffering to people who have them. Before we begin, I would like you to imagine a scenario for me. Visualize yourself confined to a bed, unable to lead the active life, watching the world pass you, breathing with the aid of a machine. No hopes of cure, no hope of escape. Only able to count the minutes, days, months, waiting for death. Now, consider living like that for 10 years. Classmates, I will now like you to consider what would you do in the same situation. Would you wish to take a dignified way when no hope remains? So, today, I will be talking about the general ideas of euthanasia, between life and death, a little bit on the history and the opinions before stepping forward to the conclusion. I'm sure that many of you had heard the term euthanasia, but you may not just be unaware of what its real meaning. To fully understand what euthanasia is, we need to look at the origin of the word. The term euthanasia comes from the ancient Greek word eu means good and thanatos means death, good death. They did not believe that life need to be preserved for a person who had no interest in living. If we look back to the history, the word euthanasia was first used in a medical context by Francis Bacon in the 17th century to refer to an easy, happy death. In 18th century, the use of morphine and analgesic medications for assisting quick death was suggested. Netherlands is the first country where euthanasia has been allowed in 1994, followed by other countries including Australia, France, and Switzerland. With that, today, euthanasia is the practice of ending a life of a person in order to end sufferings. Coming to the main conflict now, euthanasia is a serious political, moral, and ethical issue in society today. Most people either strictly forbid it or firmly favor euthanasia. Indeed, we can clearly see the increase in the acceptance of the act even though doctors were supposed to follow the Hippocratic Oath. I will give no deadly medicine to anyone if asked, nor suggest any such counsel. Now, looking deeper into the topic, is there only one way to end life as in euthanasia? The answer is of course not. There are several types of euthanasia, including active, passive, voluntary, as well as involuntary type. Wow, that's a lot, but what does they mean? Don't worry, I will talk a little bit more about those briefly. Active euthanasia is when death is brought by an act. Example, taking a high dose of drugs. While passive occurs when letting a person to die by either withdrawing or withholding the treatment. Voluntary is committed with the willing of the person with no pressures. Meanwhile, involuntary is when the patient is unconscious, like in coma. That is the end of the types of euthanasia. Now, we are going to look at my next points of discussion. Every human beings are not the same and are unique, right? Same goes to every single thing in this world. Any arising issues must always be accompanied by the relating arguments, and we need to admit to the fact that everything has the right to be seen in different perspectives of life, thus not being judgmental. What I am trying to say here is that the countries that had accepted legally this practice might have their own supporting supporting reasons compared to those saying not because of moral and religious matters. Every religions have different points of views. Okay, I'm not going to look further into the religious matter, but somehow I'm going to highlight the reasons behind the two different answers for euthanasia, which is an absolute yes or absolute no. Firstly, for those who say yes to euthanasia, they stick to view that people have the right to choose a painless and dignified way of ending, and the right circumstances might include two important things. Firstly, there must be extreme pain and suffering, followed by the next, loss of personal dignity. With that, the person's wishes should be respected. In other perspective, euthanasia frees up medical funds to help other people who are in need and have high survival rates compared to those not. It is also said to be a speedy way for termination of physical and emotional sufferings. Despite from all the evidences of the goods of euthanasia, yet it is strongly unaccepted. People who support the act of euthanasia say that it is permissible to take human life under some conditions, such as self-defense. But they miss the point that when one kills for self-defense, they are actually saving innocent lives. Friends, what I am trying to convey here is that with euthanasia, no one's life is being saved. Life is only being taken. This also leads me to my next point, where euthanasia also amounts to murder and devalues the value of human life. It is only God who can take away life. Dear friends, by that, now we are entering the final part of my talk today. In conclusion, euthanasia is the most active area of research in bioethics today. With all of my points in my talk, I strongly believe that all of you will have a general idea of what is really meant by euthanasia. Finally, I'm leaving it to you. Let's not be judgmental and think rationally for the best in the future. Last but not least, thanks for your attention. See you again. Bye.